Welcome to the Fit Vegan Podcast, the show where we help you optimize your health, fitness, and mindset on a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. My name is Maxime Sigouin. I am a former triathlete, powerlifter, bodybuilder, and basketball player, and I've been vegan for over 9 years. I'm also the founder and CEO of Fit Vegan Coaching, which has helped over 500 vegans from 20 different countries to completely transform their bodies and their health. I'm excited for you to hear today's episode. Let's get into the show. All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Fit Vegan Podcast. You might be intrigued by the title today, How to Burn Out, Get Fat, and Be Unhappy. All right, so you might be wondering why I'm titling the podcast this way, and that's because sometimes when we have goals that we want to reach, we tend to get fancy with the methodology that we need to use in order to get there. When in reality, the basics of change, the basic actions that need to happen are very simple, very boring, but so simple and boring that we don't think that it'll actually make a difference, and so simple and boring that we don't want to do them because they're so boring. And so instead we're trying to find actions that we can take, things that we can change that feel a little bit more exciting and fancy. So the reason why I titled it How to Burn Out, Get Fat, and Be Unhappy is because a lot of times we think about like, how do I get fit? Right? We think of all the things that we need to change in order for us to get fit, and we can get lost into all the opportunities that are being presented, especially in the fitness industry, to get there, right? You can do keto, you can do paleo, you can do Atkins, you can do vegan, you can do whole food, plant-based, you can do HIIT training, you can do strength training, you can do Ironman, you can do, like, there's so many things that you can do in order to get there. So, well, when you ask yourself, how do you get fat, right? You need to eat processed food and overeat on your calories and not exercise, right? That is the basics of you getting fat. Basically, it's very simple to get fat. So how do you not get fat? You just undo these three things. Stop overeating, stop eating processed food, and exercise, right? Now, when you break it down for exercise, I've shared this multiple times, you need to be strength training. If you want to not look like a soft, mushy vegan, you need to be strength training at least 3 times a week, right? If you don't believe me, listen to the podcast. I can't remember what episode it is, but it's basically Soft, Mushy Vegan. It's probably the title of the podcast episode. It's probably like a few months back, right? And then stop eating processed food. That one's pretty straightforward, right? Eliminate processed food from your day to day. Just keep it simple, right? Eventually, over time, you can earn the right to include some into your nutrition and a little bit, right? Like a small percentage of your daily calories, but just start the basics. Stop eating processed food. And fifth, stop overeating. Very simple. Go online, find any calculator, enter your age, your height, your sex, level of activity. It'll give you a number of calories. Do minus 300, eat that, boom, you are in a deficit, right? Now, we're going to add one component to that. You want to eat 1.6 grams per kg of body weight for your protein. If you're hitting calorie deficit, you hit that protein, you strength train 3 times a week, you cut out processed food, promise you, you're going to see results. It's that simple, right? There are steps after that to continue the fat loss and to go to the next level, but don't worry about that yet, right? It's basically like you want to climb Mount Everest and you're worried about what the third false peak is going to be like. Like, start with the first peak, right? Start with the first step before you go to the next step, right? There's no actual preparation that needs to take place. Do the first step, and then once you're ready, you go to the next step, right? So very simple. How to burn out, right? I just recorded a podcast on my update from my Quebec trip and talked about like how I crashed really hard for 1 week because I wasn't taking the time to fill my cup and all the fun stuff and the realizations that I learned. If you have listened to it, be sure to go listen to it after this podcast episode, not right now. But how to burn out. Do more than you can handle, say yes to everyone, overload your schedule, and do things that are out of alignment, right? At least for me, that's what a burnout would look like. Again, only 4 things, right? Do more than what you can handle, right? Cut back on only the things that are important to you that are going to move your life forward. If you make a list of all the obligations and the things that you have to do, I can promise you that there's a bunch of them that are not actually, that won't move your life forward, that won't make it better. Probably a few things that you want to do, but are not moving your life forward. Those things need to be cut out until you've caught up on all those other activities and you can include them in. Right? You have to earn the right to add things to your plate. I know it's funny, but if you're someone that makes, $60K a year and you want to buy a Ferrari, have you earned the right to buy a Ferrari? Like, no, you're going to go broke trying to buy it. Like, you're not there yet. So work your ass off until you can be in a position to do that. So same thing. If your plate is overloaded, remove the things that won't move your life forward now until those are done. Then you can focus on those other things that are on your plate, right? Saying yes to everyone. You don't have to help everyone as much as you have the heart to. And again, I struggle with that. I'm not saying this as like, hey, I'm perfect. I struggle to say no to people. But when I say no to people, guess what happens? I have more time to do the things that actually matter, and I'm less stressed and I'm less burnt out, right? Third one is do things that are out of alignment for you. All right. So whatever example I can use has to do with like meat and veganism, but like I would never coach someone for fat loss that wants to eat animal products, right? Like that would be out of alignment for me. I only coach vegans or people that are wanting to go vegan or be plant-based, right? So that would be out of alignment for me. I wouldn't be fulfilled. I wouldn't be happy doing that. And I would never do it, right? Everyone we coach is always vegan. So like do things that are out of alignment, because when you do things that are out of alignment, your soul just gets drained, right? Not even like your body, like your soul just gets drained. So make a list. Is there things that you're doing that are on your plate right now that are out of alignment? If there are, cut them out. All right. Certain things, maybe your work is out of alignment and you can't leave your work because you have bills and obligation. Start looking for another job. There's other opportunities out there. I can't tell you throughout the years, we've coached over 600 vegans now, and like, maybe 15, 20 people changed jobs throughout the process of them being on the program because they realized that they wanted more out of life and that they deserved happiness. All right. So to go back to the basis of how to burn out, be fat, and be unhappy, the things that you need to not do are actually very simple, right? Don't try to add more things to your plate to get to your goal. Remove the things that are not working. And that's what I see a lot of the times when we're talking to people when they book their free coaching call with us. They're scared that they don't have time. Or sometimes people don't book their call because like, I don't have time to work out and eat healthy. I'm like, hey, it's not, I think there's a misconception here. And I just want to break it down on this podcast. To have a successful transformation, it's not about adding more things to your plate. It's about removing the things that are not working and optimizing the actions that you're already doing that are working, right? We remove what's not working and we just tweak what is working. And that's what we do when you come into the program, right? The strength training that we make you do is minimal, right? You still have to strength training minimum 3 times a week. There's still cardiovascular exercise that you need to do. You need to train your heart. You need to train your body. But there's other things that are in your life that are sucking the time for you to be able to do these things. A lot of it comes down to the phone and TV and Netflix and all that fun stuff. Like those things are not bringing anything to your life, right? Those are things that can be cut back. And for your nutrition, it's simply about swapping the food that you're going to be putting into your mouth. Like you have to eat food every day. You can't get away from that. And so it's about removing things that are on your plate and just tweaking optimally the action that you're going to be doing. Probably heard of the 80-20 rule. 80% of the results that you're getting comes from 20% of the actions that you are taking. The goal is not to increase the amount of action, is to remove what's not working and only focus on what is working. And that's how we're able to get such amazing results for our members. So overcomplicating things is a big limiting factor to most people. And that is the reason why they never reach their goal, because you just feel so overwhelmed by the amount of actions that you need to take. And then you never actually do anything about it. So just ask yourself, like, how do I burn out in my life? And you'll come up with things, and then undo these things. How do I get fat? Overeat, eat processed food, and don't exercise. Do the opposite of those 3 things. Stop overeating, right? Cut the processed food and start exercising. It's very straightforward. If you want to coach, great. A coach can get you there a lot faster, right? But if you're not in a position, financially to bring in a coach, because that would be the only limiting factor, go on Google, find a workout plan. Just start from there, right? No, it won't be built specifically for you, and there's steps further to the journey, but it's a great place for you to start. Anything you do, if you follow it 100%, I promise you're going to be able to see some results. So just find a plan, follow that, just start heading in the right direction, start taking action. A lot of the reasons why people never reach their goal is because they never take action. right? A lot of people are scared to take imperfect action. Everyone wants to take perfect action. Everyone wants to do things right the first time. They're scared of failing. They don't want to waste their time and energy on doing the wrong things that won't bring them the results that they want. If that's you, listen up. The only way that you can do that and take perfect action is to hire an expert that knows how to do it perfectly. If you want to do it on your own, you have to be willing to take imperfect action. You get that, right? Myself and my team, we've coached over 600 vegans to crush a transformation. Lose 20 pounds in 90 days, lose 40 pounds in 6 months, lose 40 plus pounds in 9 months. We've done it. We know how to. That's why the program is called Fit Vegan Blueprint. We have the blueprint to do that over and over and over and over again. We tweak it to every individual because everyone is different situation, different metabolism, different life obligation, but we can repeat the results constantly. That's why we're so good at what we do. If you want that path and you want to take perfect action, hire an expert in the field. If you want to do it on your own, you have to be willing to fail and fuck up and take actions and be like, well, that didn't really help me. That actually hurt me. I actually put on some weight from doing that. I did this exercise and I'm too tired to live my day-to-day life because I'm working out too hard, right? You're going to have to figure out what that balance is. You're going to have to figure out when to do the tweaks to your workout, what exercises to do to grow the muscles that you want to grow, how to get lean and tone your body. You're going to have to figure out how to tweak your nutrition so you can see those results. Like, you can absolutely do it on your own, right? I did it for a long time, and it took me 7 years for me to get there. It took me 7 years of failure and trial for me to figure it out. And then once I figured it out, I was only like 50% good at it. And then I hired a coach, and then he tweaked my body. That was a long time ago. Tweaked my body, and I was like, oh my God, that was so much easier. I could have just done that from the start. I could have just brought in someone that knows how to do the thing that I want to do, and for them to just literally tell me. And all I need to do is to take the action. Right? And that's why I have 5 coaches in my life now for different areas. I have a life coach with Tony Robbins. I have a finance coach. I have business mentors. I have a nutrition training coach. Literally, I do the actions they tell me to do. And then once I get to that step, right? Like we talked about Mount Everest, I hike to the first stage. I'm like, hey, I'm at the first stage. What's next? And they're like, okay, this. I'm like, great. Here's a list of actions. And I just do the actions. And then I get to the third one. And I go to them like, hey, I'm done. I'm here. What's the next step? And they tell me the next step is, and I just do it. I get literally that simple of a process, but the actions you have to take are hard and boring and require discipline and require you to show up for yourself, and they require you for you to respect what you say that you're going to do. It forces you to respect the word that you're giving to others and to yourself. Like, that's a challenging part. Like, the blueprint is easy. Just bring in an expert and he'll tell you how to do it. Like, that's how I've achieved so much success in my life. Because I've had people that are like, hey, this is how you do it. I'm like, great, thank you. Like, why do I need to figure it out? Why do I need to reinvent the wheel? And then boom, right? I did my studies. I have my certification. I did that for a reason, because I wanted to become an expert in this field. And I am an expert in this field. You give me anyone and I can make them lose weight and have the body that they want if they follow the blueprint that I give them. I know how to do that. And like, I can just repeat that like clockwork. I know how to, right? The hard part is getting people to take the actions, right? Which is exactly like I shared in the mountain analogy. Once you get to step 1, we'll tell you what to do to get to step 2, but you have to take those actions. I can't do the bench press and the squat for you. I can't do the meal prep for you. I can't remove the pizza from your hand and force you to eat your Buddha bowl. That is something that you have to do. And I'll be honest with you, when we first started Fit Vegan Coaching Program, we like the level of accountability that we're providing to people was like clockwork. Almost like every 2 to 3 hours, we would make sure that people were on track. And I'll be honest, those people got amazing results, right? Where they had like weekly calls, like the structure was very different. But you know what happened? After they left the program, in the early days of the program, they're like, I don't know how to operate. I feel lost. I was like, oh, that's interesting, right? You did all this process. But the thing that happened is we were holding people's hand too much. And then when they were left on their own, they were just like, Coach Maxime, where are you? Where's your hand? I don't know how to do this on my own. And that's not why I created the program. I created the program so it's the last transformation you ever have to do. And you can be a strong, independent vegan after and continue this lifestyle for the rest of your life. Oh, sorry. You can do this lifestyle for the rest of your life. And so I realized that by holding people's hand, I was actually doing them a disservice in the long run. all of our members, that happened in the first few months of business. We've been in business for over almost 3 years now. Every member that we have, we check in with them, we hold them accountable, we nudge them in the right direction when needed, but we need to let our members go through some phases of struggle. They need to develop that resilience and that mindset that is necessary for them to be able to succeed once they're outside of the program, right? This is not only a training for your body and for your nutrition, it's also a mindset training, right? If I'm just beside you holding your hand all the time and then you leave, you're lost. You don't know how to operate without me. And that's not the goal. I want you to learn, and I need you to learn how to operate without us. We will guide you. We will give you the blueprint. We'll give you the steps of action, but I can't go every day and be like, hey, go and do your workout. Go and do your workout. Go and do your workout. Hey, don't eat that. Make sure you eat this food. We give you the meal plan. You know what the plan is. You're a grown adult. You need to show up for yourself. We have your weekly check-ins. We have weekly one-on-one calls. We have group calls every week. Like, we have the necessary touch points that are needed for someone to succeed. Again, we've refined that process so well over the years. That's why, again, we're able to provide so much amazing results for our members. But at the end of the day, if you're looking for that hand, if you're looking for someone to hold your hand the whole way through, you're not going to be successful in the long run. In the short run, you might do the workout, but I see there's two different scenarios that happens. Is if we hold your hand too much, what happens is some people rely on it too much, and then they don't show up if you're not there to hold their hand, and then they don't get the results because they're not taking the actions that are necessary. And then on the other part is if we hold your hand the whole way through, they're going to get amazing results. But then at the end, what happens is they're not independent. They're relying on the coach to be like, hey, where's my hand? How do I do this? How do I do this? Right? I need you to be an independent thinker. I need you to build resilience in your mind. I need you to go through some challenges, because the only way for you to learn how to do this for a lifetime is to go off track. I'll be honest, and this is my podcast, I can swear, like, you're going to fuck up throughout the process of the fat loss journey. Our program, any program that you do, you're going to have your moments where there's social activities, where there's a birthday, where you're just like, you know what, fuck it. I had a long day today and I want to eat a pizza. Like, whatever it may be, you're going to have those moments. And those moments are normal and they're a part of the process. What I need you to learn is to win the next meal. I need you to learn to not make emotion-based decisions after. I need you to learn to not throw in the flag after you had one bad moment, or if you missed one workout or you ate one brownie. I need you to learn to show up consistently even when it's hard. I need you to show up for your workout even when you don't want to, right? I don't want to work out half of the time. Like, half of the time, I don't want to work out. And I said I work 10 to 12 hours a day and I work out after. Like, I don't have the energy to work out. And you know what? I show up every single time. My fiance, Ivy, knows that. If I'm at the end of the day and I'm tired and exhausted and she's tired and exhausted, she knows we're going to the gym. She knows that if she wants to stay home, she can, but I'm going to the gym. I'm not missing out on the gym, because that is a part of who I am. I made a promise to myself that I would do all of my workouts, and I have for the past 17 years. I haven't missed a workout in the past 17 years. I've always done the workouts that I was supposed to do. The only ones I've ever missed is out of injury. When I was training for Ironman and my leg was injured, I couldn't run, but I would still do my strength training for my upper body. I would still do my swimming, right? Because that's a promise that I gave to myself, that I would do my workouts. I never had anyone there that was to hold my hand. And I had one coach early on that did a little bit of that. And I found myself having to need this person in order to operate. I don't want to have to rely on anyone to operate. And I don't want my members to have to rely on someone for the rest of their life to operate. I'm trying to build strong, independent vegans that can be healthy, get lean, thrive, disease-proof their body, and can be a freaking light in their community where they show up as a leader. That's who our members are. They are leaders. There are people that can show up when they don't want to and do the work that they need to do. So anyways, just wanted to share that with you. We completely diverted from the original topic of how to burn out, get fat, and be unhappy. But at the end of the day, the actions are very simple. They're just really hard to do. And having a coach and a mentor there to guide you through the steps, will be like, hey, here are the steps. Let's check in every week to make sure you're actually taking those actions, right? But you don't need someone beside you every single day, texting you every hour to be like, hey, did you do your workout every day? Did you respect your nutrition, all that fun stuff? I don't think it's actually serving people in the long run. And we used to have a package like that, and I don't I think it didn't go that great to be honest with you, because again, it was just more of a crush than anything else, right? And some people need it for a period of their time where it's a little bit more stressful, and I get that. But for the majority, you want to be a strong, independent thinker, and you want to be able to learn from those lessons. All right. So guys, I hope this podcast episode was valuable. If you connected with what I shared and you want to build a resilient mind, you want to be able to show up when you need to show up. Like, a lot of our program is tailored around mindset, because ultimately that's what's going to make the difference in whether you succeed or not. Your ability to show up when you don't want to, when you've gone off track, when things are uncomfortable, when things are inconvenient. If you can do that, imagine how powerful you're going to be for the rest of your life, because fitness and nutrition is just the base of your life. If you can level up your body, and you can gain control over your emotions when it comes to food, and over your emotions when it comes to training, I promise you this will level up in your relationship with your partner, with your kids, with your parents, with your friends, with your coworkers, with everyone, right? Transforming your body from a training and nutrition standpoint forces you to do some self-development on a mental level that will translate into every other area of your life, which is the reason why I love fitness and nutrition, which is the reason why I've gone in multiple reasons why I've gone into this space. It's allowed me to level up. I used to be a really shy, insecure kid that never thought that I could build what I've built to this day. But fitness is what gave me that confidence to be like, you know what, if I can gain control over my body, I can do other things too. And so if you want some more information, there's a link down below in the show notes where you can book your free coaching call. Head on there. Super excited to chat with you and get you to the next level. And if not, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Ciao.